Good evening, short story writers, and as promised yesterday, today's fiction writing prompt is all about scarves. Things in your home environment, in your everyday life. And we're also continuing the theme of if this is the solution, then what was the problem? Now, the reason we're going with scarves anyway is because they can have a multitude of uses in sticky situations. So if you think of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, the most massively useful thing that a hitchhiker could take anywhere was their towel, because it could be a pillow, it could fend off nuclear radiation blasts, it could do a whole bunch of other things, and it could wave down passing spaceships when you needed to hitch a ride. Scarves can do many things also. They can tie things up, they could act as a barrier, they can be used in some cultures. This surprised me. In the Korean legal system, when their equivalent of a barrister is going from his office or her office to the courts of law, all the briefs are wrapped in what would be considered a big sort of head square, and knotted, because that's the way it's always been done. And it's still done to this day. It looks great, but I was baffled at first when I saw this in a Korean drama until I asked a friend, and they explained this to me. So, scarves, what else can they do? Obviously, they keep you warm, but at a pinch, they could be used in a COVID situation. They could be used to hide your identity, should you need to do so. They could be used in a liaison. You are going to meet someone who you have not got any visual ID on, for thriller and action here. Yeah. You don't know what they look like, so you say, I'll be wearing this. Now, if you want to have a similar situation, but for literary purposes, then maybe you are standing next to somebody who is also wearing a scarf with a similar description. So this is a tartan scarf. Imagine if somebody's wearing the Stuart tartan, blue and green, and you are meant to meet somebody underneath the clock at, I'm going to go with Liverpool Station, Liverpool Lime Street, because dun dun dun, in my Liverpool home. And somebody approaches you and you are the wrong person. They're meant to meet the next person, or vice versa. If it's going to be a kind of a life is terrible sort of a literary story, then they could approach the other person, go off with them and live happily ever after. And then you're thinking, well, I should have opened my mouth and said, you got the wrong person. What else? Science fiction, scarves, science fiction, well, used to bring home a sample of a meteorite, and the meteorite turns out to have special properties, microbes, water on it, whatever. Artifacts, could wrap up an artifact, keep it safe, disguise it to get it through customs, that kind of thing. And same artifact could be used in a good grief, horror and or fantasy story, again to get it through customs, and maybe it touches the scarf and the scarf becomes the artifact and is possessed. It's a possessed scarf and continues to wreak havoc when your intrepid traveller, when he or she returns home. Okay, that's about exhausted, that one. But as you can see, the scarf can either be the problem in the scenarios I've given you, or it could be a solution to a problem. How are you going to get this artifact home? You wrap it up in the scarf. How are we going to rob that bank? We're going to put a scarf around our neck and then burn it afterwards so that all DNA traces are gone. Or we hire an unusual scarf, so people are looking at a very brightly coloured scarf, so the authorities are looking for somebody with a brightly coloured scarf, but you've gotten rid of it because you normally dress a lot more drably than that. So yeah, if it's a solution to the problem, that's where your creativity comes in. What could the problem be if this is the solution? What else can you do with it? Oh, you could take somebody prisoner, can you? You could I suppose you could write a naughty story with it, where you use it to blindfold somebody, or whatever, 50 Shades of Grey them at the wrists. You could use it as a dog leash, I guess. You could carry kittens and puppies to safety in it, or a newborn baby, I suppose, if you've got a kind of a situation. You could use it as a tourniquet, you could use it as a bandage. So then you have to write the story. What led to the need for the bandage? What led to the need for the tourniquet? What led to the finding of the kittens, etc., and what happens afterwards? Okay. Started with a scarf, and we come up with all these ideas. And it's not because I'm particularly more creative than most people. You just ask the question, what is the problem? Write them all down, brainstorm them. If you write down 20, then at least 1 or 2 will be usable, and maybe even all 20. You could have 20 stories. And I think that is it. Yes. So, as usual, thumbs up if there's a good video and gave you a lot of idea, or even one idea. And thumbs down if it was terrible and you're thinking, why do I bother? But please don't do that. Persevere. I'm sure there's something in this series which will be of use to you and give you a short story idea. Okay, bye for now.